iron. We have made it.
Way lower than
And you're Beth, right?
I am Beth.
Haven't changed.
Yes, no. Don't lie.
All right, a couple more quick announcements before we start our athlete briefing.
Alright, so I got all my Ironman stuff. I got the bag with the shirt, and then I bought a sweater and a mug and a hat. I was just at the athlete briefing that you guys saw. I felt like I was in an oven baking at 400 degrees. So I heard about the swim currently right now. They said the swim is on, all 1.2 miles of it, so fingers are crossed. They didn't get as much rain as I was hoping today, so hopefully it'll be enough rain that we can swim and it'll help with like the algae bloom. But I am just headed back. My dad already headed back to the hotel room just to get cooled off. He didn't put sunscreen on. But once I head back to the room, we're gonna grab some dinner and then just relax outside the hotel and just enjoy downtown Louisville. But I am all checked in and ready to go. I've got my wristband on and the sun's back out. And I am cooking.
Yeah, 3. I love kids. Anything at all can, it does happen. Same with wives, for that matter. Right?
Ironman signs.
But definitely don't forget your morning clothes bag. Don't forget your timing chip. Don't forget your swim cap.
Karen, he's getting close. Yeah, he's coming by the last buoy.
Let's go, Bubba! Let's go!
good. There's a bump down there. There's a bump down there. You'll drop your bike. Go, bump!
From Ironman Louisville 2024 70.3, and overall it was a success. So I was just gonna briefly in a couple minutes explain just how it went, the course, how it was an inaugural event, the water issues, just all of it put together. It was an inaugural event. It used to be a full. It was pulled out, and 2019 was the last full event. 2020 was supposed to be the last full event, but obviously 2020 was kind of a funky year, so it did not happen. They announced last year, 2023, that they were going to bring back the Ironman Louisville 70.3. I have not heard anything about it becoming a full at this point in time. So this is September 2024. So hopefully maybe 2026 there will be a full coming back to Louisville. We stayed downtown at the Hyatt Regency, which is just on 4th Street Live, which was really close to transition, the expo, and then finish line was right there. That morning we got up around, I think it was 4 a.m. Just briefly grabbed everything that we had already kind of preset out at the doors. So like I had actually my water bottles all set up. I had like my morning clothes bag, and then I had all my transition stuff in the bag. So that was different from a full where you actually have like the bags and those are dropped off the day before. So I took all my stuff down to transition. You guys saw I got to set up my stuff. Met up with a couple friends that I knew from Louisville, and just briefly spoke to them, wished them a good race. From the Hyatt Regency down to transition was exactly 0.8 miles, so it was a good little warm-up, and it was actually pretty warm that morning because I wore like a sweatshirt and some long thin pants, and I had to take off the like zip-up sweatshirt thing because I was cooking. Set everything up, bike looked good, transition stuff was set up, put my nutrition on my bike, and then I walked 1.2 miles down to the swim. So I had almost 2 miles, well over 2 miles already underneath my belt before I even got to the swim start, and I was just walking in flip-flops. I handed my dad my flip-flops, and right before transition, I gave my morning clothes bag to a truck. It was kind of on the way. And took a last pee, got in line, staged basically by your approximated swim time. I lined up between the 30 to 33 minutes. I think it was like the third tier back. So I lined up there. I felt like I was seated really well, and before we knew it, it was time to go. And so every 4 seconds they let 4 of us go at a time, and they had a really cool ramp this year. I've never seen this at any of the halves or the fulls, but the ramp was like actually in the water, and you got to like walk down to it, and then you could like dive off of the ramp. I still just jumped in just to make sure, you know, goggles didn't fall off and that I was comfortable. After that, I got in the water. Water was very warm, 82 degrees. It felt like a bathtub. Prior to that, there was a warning for cyanobacteria, and the state of Kentucky had placed an advisory for no swimming, no boating, no actually dipping any of your body in because you could potentially get skin irritations, infections, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, all of these things. 2 days before it rained, and a day before they lifted the advisory, they said that they had no cyanobacteria in the lake or river, and that they released the advisory and that we were clear to swim. So we did, we swam. I swam right at, I believe, 31 minutes. Swim felt good, felt strong. I felt like I was following the buoys. They were all on my left. And I just felt really good on the swim. I just felt like I had a lot of energy when I got out because, again, it's half the distance. So I just felt like I was in a good position to get on the bike. I saw my dad when I got off the bike. I'm sorry, I saw my dad when I got out of the swim. After exiting the swim, it was 0.4 miles from the river end to getting my bike and getting to that line where you could actually mount your bike. 0.4 miles. So again, guys, I'm adding up all these miles of just this extra stuff because my transition, I think, was like 7 minutes and 52 seconds. And I had one of my coworkers like, what the heck did you do in transition? I was like, dude, it was almost half a mile. And again, you can't run very well. You're barefooted, you're running over asphalt, some of these paved stones, grass, and then you're carrying your bike for part of that too. So it was a longer transition than expected, but I knew I wanted to set myself up for success. Got on the bike. I felt super strong getting on the bike. I felt like I could really push it that day. I really loved just like seeing the scenery. I hadn't been on the Louisville course since 2012. So I was really, really excited to be back and just like seeing the river on my left and just downtown on my right and all the different buildings and cool houses that kind of line up along the river. And I think it was around mile 11. I was realizing that I was averaging around 21 to 23 miles an hour, which I was shocked. And again, it was relatively flat, but we were at a slow incline, and I knew that just looking at the elevation guide before I did it. So I thought, wow, I'm doing actually pretty good. And I just kept pedaling, I kept pushing. I felt really good. The volunteers were amazing at all the aid stations. They were always handing out, bananas and water, and I'm not into the Morton stuff, which is like the gels and stuff. So I didn't take any of that. So I just had my own nutrition on my bike, and I felt really good. Took my pickle juice, which was really good. I even had a cyclist, as I was pulling it out of my pocket, he's like, you got pickle juice? I was like, I only have one, I'm sorry. And he's like, you're so lucky. Because pickle juice just works really good for me. Just leaning over and kind of eating all that stuff, it just makes my stomach kind of nauseous, not to mention being in the water. So pickle juice just took it away instantly. After that, I knew once I got to mile like 38, 41, somewhere around in there, I knew most of it was like a downhill. Again, not really noticeable, but it was just a slow decline back into town as you line the river. Coco's joining us. So I actually picked up speed. I averaged overall 19.2 miles an hour. It's the fastest I've ever done. I felt super strong, but I was also pretty fatigued by the time I finished the 56 miles. And I was kind of nervous because I was like, I pushed it really hard. I've never really pushed it that hard before on the bike. I usually try to moderate and make sure that I have plenty of energy for the run because it does take so much energy on the run. So I was a little nervous getting off the bike. Did like another 7-minute transition because I had another 0.4 miles from the dismount back to transition where my bike, I could drop it off and then put on all my run stuff. Felt pretty quick actually transitioning and getting the equipment. Coco, seriously? And I started off on the run. I felt pretty strong throughout. We kind of ran through the east side of Louisville and then down into Cherokee Park. And thank goodness they did, because some of the kind of the overcast and the clouds that we had were really starting to break up. We had a chance, 10% chance of some just pop-up showers. So I knew with the weather that there was always going to be a chance that the sun would come. I always knew that the sun might come back out, and it did. And it came out with a vengeance, and it was very hot, and it was kind of that humid, muggy feel because it had previously showered, the day before, and a few showers during the day. I guess it poured out on the bike course. I don't know where. I never experienced it, but I had other runners on the course as we were passing them. They said that it was raining on the bike and quite heavily. So it was very steamy on the run. We ran through Cherokee Park. It was shaded, it was beautiful. It was pretty dang hilly though, because I always remember Louisville being pretty flat running through downtown, like through 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Street. You know, down like Witherspoon Road, 4th Street, like all that was pretty well shaded because you have the tall buildings in between them. This was pretty shaded, but it was actually pretty hilly, and that was something that I really wasn't expecting. I pushed through. I think I only walked on one hill because I was like, it's only 13 miles. That was my mental mindset. And I pushed through, and I knew in my mind, I was like, just get to like mile 9.5, and then you're going to be running through downtown Louisville, which is my absolute favorite. And we did. I got to like mile 9.5. I actually had a little shower come through, kind of felt good. And then when I got to like mile 9.5, I was starting to come out and start to see, you know, like 3rd Street, and I was getting really excited that we get to like run through the downtown and under some of the tunnels, and the crowd support was really ramping up, so there was a lot of like cheering. And before I knew it, I took a right-hand turn, and I was like, I'm going to be going up 4th Street, and I ran straight up 4th Street. I saw my dad on my right-hand side, and I waved to him, and you guys saw the footage too. I tried to put it all together the race before. And then, yeah, I finished, and it felt amazing. I finished at 5 hours and 55 minutes, which was my fastest half I've ever done. And my averages for the swim and the bike were incredible. My fastest I've gone. My run was pretty average. Again, my running hasn't been the best because I thought I had quite the amount of injuries. So it wasn't my strongest. But overall, Ironman 70.3 Louisville was a success. Afterwards, we showered, we took a nap, and then we went downstairs. There's like a bar called Sway, and we had dinner. Actually, we left Sway and we went to Gordon Birch restaurant, which was on 4th Street Live, and we went down there, watched the finish line, had dinner, and just celebrated and just had a great time. And then we went to bed like super early at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock because we knew we wanted to get up super early to come home, so that I could get my kids and, you know, get things going because I had to go back to work. But overall, it was a success, and I enjoyed it immensely. And I don't think I'm going to do it next year. I think I'm going to do something a little bit closer to home because it did take quite a bit of PTO for me to get there because it was right smack dab in between my tour. And the hotels were actually pretty reasonable. They were cheaper than they were in 2008. So thank you to the town of Louisville for having us and hosting us and providing us great hotel rates. I don't know about other people, but I got a great hotel rate. I booked super early, registered the first day it came open. And overall, I mean, I would 100% recommend Ironman Louisville. They were very hospitable. They really worked on the race. They tried super hard to get us in that swim. They even had a plan B for us to swim somewhere else if they couldn't get that advisory lifted. So overall, it was just a great race, and I'm glad I got to share this with you guys. I am still training. I have Ironman Chattanooga in about 3 weeks. I'm very tired. I'm getting some injuries, and I just need to keep on pushing for a couple more weeks, and then it'll be taper time. I have the MS 150. I'll be doing a 100-mile race the week before, so I'll share that with you guys. And then the week after that, I am going to be bringing you guys Ironman Chattanooga 2024. So keep with me. I'm going to keep training and keep racing, and we'll see what the rest of 2024 has to bring with us. I hope if you guys went to Ironman Louisville 70.3, let me know in the comments below. How was it for you? How did it go? How was the race? Everybody has a different perspective, so let me know how it went for you.